So I have done several videos on BioBidet's products. This is one of their faucets. This is the Flow faucet. Now, in my bathroom, which I have yet to do a full video on, I have the Flow bathroom motion activated faucet, which actually tells you the temperature of the water and everything, and we have loved it ever since I put it in. Batteries have lasted over a year already. Fantastic product. This is the Flow motion activated kitchen faucet. Now this is the kind of spring net style design. They have the more traditional, not as tall designs. They have this available with or without motion. This one has the motion activation. So there are other options that BioBidet offers, which you will definitely be able to take a peek at. I will put the link to BioBidet's website right towards the top of the description, so check it out there when you get done watching this video. But we're going to see what it takes to get this guy installed. I currently have a standard spring neck kitchen faucet in my sink at my sink right now, so I'm going to replace that with this, and we're going to give it a try. So, but this video, let's unbox it. Let's see how everything comes. And of course, everybody's install is going to be slightly different, so that part of the video might be a little bit different. But that said, let's bring it on in. Okay, so like I said, the Flow motion activated kitchen faucet. I believe it goes, let's see, click there. All right, there we go. All right, I am actually looking forward to doing this video. We do have a booklet, which I'm gonna browse probably before I install it, unlike something I normally don't do. This is probably the battery piece, because this is battery activated. You don't have to worry about having a power supply nearby. So yep, right here, see the plugs there. Looks like water line there. We'll take a peek at that. However, aha, there we go. Batteries, 4 AA batteries there. So this is the motion activated controller. All right, let's put that over here. Let's see what's in here. Okay, big guy here. I'm gonna have to take a peek at that guy. That's interesting. Looks like that's for water hose of some kind, maybe. Some mounts, that's going to be for the controller. These are the pieces that to install the item, I would assume, and then a tool to remove or replace, I would assume, the tip here. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, so whether or not you need this plate or not, it does come with the plate to cover the other holes that are going to be present in your setup. And the last piece here is the actual head. There we are, there's the spray head. So it is just mainly plastic, it's very lightweight. Obviously, here's the big thing, is we have all these hoses. You have the hot water line, cold water line, that's obviously gonna go to your hot water and cold water lines. Then you have these two guys. Obviously, these are gonna go, this is gonna go to what I would only assume is this. And then the top of this, I don't know if that just goes directly to that, and then I gotta figure out what this is about. So that is one thing I gotta look up. Give me a moment. Okay, now it makes sense to me looking at this. I've never actually seen one of these, but basically what this is a weight. And so you can see it just has a clip on the one side. It's a weight that you put on this guy here to basically hold it down into place, I would think. So that it, you know, when you're pulling this out, it looks like you can actually pull this out, and it basically sets how far you can pull it, and then obviously the weight with gravity pulls it back down. That's what that is for. It's a weight, and I'll show you when we're done installing this bad boy. Fairly simple install. All the pieces are here. It's really about getting this mounted in the cabinet and getting some batteries in it. But pretty easy exactly what goes where. It's going to be plug and play for those other than the 2 pieces of the water line that go to your actual existing hookup. Pretty standard there though as well. Nothing super fancy on this other than doing this part, which this isn't going to be that difficult, but you will need a Phillips screwdriver, so make sure you have that. That said, I got the stuff. I'm going to go upstairs and clear it out underneath my cabinet so we can get this guy installed. Okay, so this is the Kohler faucet that I currently have. We're about to make that disappear. I'm not going to video that going down, but I'm going to remove this and get ready for the new one to go in. Okay, so I got it all taken out. So I have, first of all, I have the piece. You can see there's a notch out of this back section. I think that's the back side. We're going to take a peek here, but that's going to go ahead and cover the other two holes that I have that I'm not going to use. Now, I am doing the install with this cover because I have 2 extra holes I got to cover. However, if you don't have that, you only have the single hole, you don't use this, you put this rubber washer in here instead. So before you put this on, if you're not using this 3-hole design, make sure you put this rubber washer in, or I should say silicone washer. All right, so now I'm going to feed all of the hoses down through power as well. And that's going to go down like so. Okay, so you can see here we have the actual faucet, the deck plate, and then below deck we're going to put rubber washer followed by metal washer followed by metal, or the mounting nut and with the mounting screws in them already. So those 3 things, washer, metal washer, and then mounting nut. That's the order that I got to put them in down below. Okay, so you can see the hoses there, and if we look up, you can see the threading there. Now I'm going to put the washer and stuff over the hoses, and then the lock ring, obviously the nut last. Get that tight, and then the screws essentially screw it down to hold it in place. And I'll show you that when I get to there, but I'm going to do the rest of this off camera because it's going to be really hard to do this on camera. Okay, so I have the rubber washer followed by the metal washer followed by the nut with the screws in it. Now I got it snug, not super tight. Now we got to go up top and check it. So up here you can see that we are aligned pretty good actually. And the faucet now is actually setting over that little groove that was around it, so it's kind of locked into place. Now we can just go ahead and tighten down the nut, and then those 2 screws, we tighten those down after the nut is tight. So just like the other one, rubber washer, metal washer, this is off my other sink. This is going to get tight, and then once that's tight, then you tighten this down. That it basically adds a little extra push on it to tighten it up even more. But then these 2 screws actually lock it in so it doesn't loosen up over time. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to hook up my water lines, the cold water and the hot water line. And then after those are done, then I'll actually mount the box in here somewhere. Figure out where I want to put that. And then we'll be ready to get going. Oh, look at what that LED light is doing to me. Okay, so now before I install the control mechanism, I'm going to put batteries in it right now. Now, the place that you're going to want to mount this, first you're going to want to have access to it when you eventually do need to replace the batteries. You also want to make sure that the hoses can reach it. So you're going to want to put this in a spot where the hoses reach it. You're going to want to put it in a spot where it's easy for you to get to it. You know, you're not going to have to replace these batteries regularly, but just make sure that it's in a spot that the hoses reach and you're comfortable getting in there to swap out the batteries. And then lastly, where you can actually mount it. So in a substrate or something that you can actually screw it into, because you're not going to want to have this hanging around down there. Also something to point out over here, before we hook it up, this little guy here, there's a safety ring that you can pull out, and essentially you can turn it counterclockwise all the way to the bottom. That's when the power is low or the sensor is out of order. So if we leave it tight, put the little guy on there, like it came out of the box, we should be good to go. Okay, so you can see I have it mounted on the back wall where I can easily get to the battery box. I apologize for the LED lighting doing that thing, but now I'm ready to plug these things in. And essentially just plugging in the power and the 2 cables, we should be good to go. Okay, so before I install the weight, I want to install this guy so it's not hanging around so much. I want to get this guy on, and that should be that. Now I can install the weight down below. Now the weight actually goes, there's a weight, let me show you. Didn't notice it before, but it literally says install weight. That's where it's going, right on that piece of tape. Now you can double check all your connections, but I will say this, both the bottom one in blue and then the top one up there, they snap into position. So you just push until they snap, and then the power couples, and then does have a twist bayonet so that it actually screws into place. So it's watertight, but also can't come undone either. So we are fully set. Weight is on. I'm going to kick the water back on, and then we'll be up top. Okay, so water is on. I will have to check the connections down below, but right now it doesn't seem like we're leaking. But once you start running water, you'll want to recheck those connections to make sure they don't leak. Now there is air in this line right now, so it should take a second before the water comes out, but see here? Motion. Now there is sticker over the motion control here. And then we also have this, I bet. Yep. So, how it works, as you can see there, as I just did it, it's motion on, motion off. And then you can make this mix however you like to have it mix out of the gate. So you can find the correct temperature. So let's make sure that I have the hot water line and the cold water line correct. That's definitely warmer than that. That's a lot colder. So the nice thing about this is you can find your favorite mix, and every time you turn it back on, the hottest it's going to get, or the temperature it will reach once the cold stuff reaches out of the system, is whatever you have that mix set at. Also, we do have a nice sprayer, and we have a capability of turning it on and off. You have to, it looks like you have to hold that button to hold it off for a minute. And now you have hands-free operation. You can come up, turn it on, and then just boom. Okay, so I just went down and made sure I didn't have any leaks. I don't. This is one of those things that I definitely want to check regularly to make sure that it's not leaking. But now I can turn it on. I do have that hose that, because that counterweight will automatically retract, right? And that's what the nice thing about that counterweight is. But yeah, that works great. But the nice thing is that you turn it on. Say we do this, I can hold it, do it over here, whatever, hold, you know, as long as I'm holding that button and it doesn't do anything. Looks like it automatically reverses as soon as you turn it off. So if I put it on the sprayer, if I turn it off for whatever reason, it goes back to the stream. So that's not a bad thing, I guess. Every time you turn off the sink, no matter what, if I put it on the sprayer, now it's going to do that. So that's just something to know. So that is the install of the Flow touchless kitchen faucet, motion activated kitchen faucet for that matter. This is no really harder to install than a standard faucet, albeit there's a few extra connections, but they're all pretty simple and go pretty fast. They did a really good job with this one, just like they did a great job with the bathroom one that I already have had for about a year now. And that battery pack is still going strong in there, and that gets used regularly. So it's going to be interesting to see how long the battery lasts on this. I'm expecting it to last a long time as well. So that is the Flow motion activated kitchen faucet install. I will have a full review on this once we have time to fully utilize it and you get people used to having to use the motion controls. But yeah, that's it. If you have any questions or comments, please post those below. Subscribe, share this video if you can, and we'll catch you back here on GeekSmart for another future video install. Like I said, I will have a review up, and I will put a link here at the end of the video as well as in the description where that review video can be found. But I'm not going to do a review video until I actually have time to use it in real world scenario and get feedback from my wife and kids as well. So that said, thanks for watching to the end of this video, guys, and we'll catch you back here for another future video install, tutorial, setup, what have you. We like having fun. We'll see you soon.